All right, member Columbia River
Well, thank
Revelstoke.
you, Mr. Speaker, and through you, or Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, through you've got you've got that label now. It's going to stick. Um, through you, Mr. Chair, to the Minister, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to have a conversation here with him today. And I also want to thank him for his indulgence as I read into the record some information that I think that will provide some context for the questions that are be coming up. And I'm going to be speaking today about Avalanche Canada, and I want to recognize their highly trained staff that delivers and gathers data to issue daily avalanche forecasts throughout the winter for BC's mountainous regions. And they're absolutely professionals, and we appreciate what they do. And as a British Columbian, I'm very proud to say that Avalanche Canada, which is based, of course, in Revelstoke, is recognized internationally as a leader in public avalanche safety. They provide forecasts for 14 regions that total over 326,000 square kilometers within BC alone. And by comparison, and this is interesting, the United States has 22 different centers that provide forecasts for less than 200,000 square kilometers. And although AvCan has international recognition, unfortunately, they continue to struggle for the recognition within our own province. And the minister will know that more than 95% of AvCan's forecast regions are in BC. Well over 80% of AvCan's entire budget is spent in BC, and that 75% of all avalanche fatalities in the last 20 years have occurred in BC. And though the minister may be aware of these stats, it will come as a surprise to most British Columbians. Although BC benefits the most from AvCan's products and services, the provincial government is not providing its proper share nor demonstrating the commitment that the public organization deserves in order to keep British Columbians safe. And as the minister will know, the Yukon, as an example, provides $60,000 annually to AvCan, representing about $1.70 per resident, even though the majority of its funding is spent in BC. Alberta, too, even during COVID-19 pandemic, is signed on to multi-year funding commitment with Avalanche Canada. The province of BC, on the other hand, usually and only provides around $400,000 per year, which represents about 8 cents per resident. And I say usually because a large portion of the provincial funding is not guaranteed. Up to $250,000 of AvCan's annual funding from BC comes from the form of community gaming grants program. This means that AvCan has to reapply each year for these essential funds, and the budget each year is based on receiving this grant. This year, an added level of uncertainty came when AvCan was notified that instead of receiving a notification of community grant funding in November 2020, they won't be notified until February 2021. This has created an unnecessary and an unreasonable level of uncertainty for an organization's operational budget. Mr. Chair, through you to the Speaker, last year, the minister in these estimates said he was going to the Treasury Board to ask for $1 million in annual funding for AvCan. And I know, through you, Chair, to the Minister, I know that this minister recognizes that Avalanche Canada is an essential public safety organization. So, through you, Chair, to the Minister, my first question, will the Minister today commit to providing guaranteed annual funding so that AvCan doesn't have to wait until February to be notified about their gaming grant application?
Minister.
Thank you, honorable chair, and thank you, member, for the question. No, I fully recognize the value that Avcan and the services that they provide to British Columbia, and in fact to Canada as a whole. And I think they do a remarkable job. This issue of funding has been around for a while, and I did commit to go to Treasury Board. I went to Treasury Board. Was it successful this year? No, but I am committed to trying to find a sustainable long-term funding format for Avcan, in the same way that we have done for search and rescue in British Columbia. And I'm as you have my, I will continue to work on that. I know in the case of search and rescue, it took a bit of time, but we did get there, and I am confident that that we can get there with Avcan, and I will continue to work on that. In terms of this year's grant, I know that granting program takes place through Municipal Affairs and Housing. So what I will commit to you is to raise this issue with Municipal Affairs and Housing and see what can be done there, recognizing obviously that sometimes granting programs don't necessarily line up with the needs of the grantee organization. And it's, I mean, I recognize that in the case of Avcan, their services are most acute in that fall to spring window in many parts of the province. So that's what I can tell you and what I'm prepared to do.
Member.
Well, through you, Chair, to the Minister, I sincerely want to thank you for that. I know you recognize how important this organization is to public safety and into the lives of British Columbians, not only the lives of British Columbians, but for folks that eventually will, once COVID-19 has been solved, come back to our province. And one of the biggest issues, and I'm glad you've mentioned it, is that community gaming grant. And my question through you to the Minister: would the Minister commit to advocating for a one-time lump sum grant that would eliminate the need for Avcan to apply annually for the community gaming grant, and that way guaranteeing the resources like Alberta has given a 3-year commitment to Avcan? So to the Minister, through you, Mr. Chair, would that be something he'd be willing to advocate as well for?
Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Through you to the member, I will continue to push for that.
Recognizing the member for Columbia River Revelstoke.
Well, through you, Chair, to the Minister, I again sincerely appreciate that on behalf of Avalanche Canada and all the people that we serve. And I look forward to that advocacy and the success of getting this organization the much money it needs, because it is an essential service to our province. So again, thank you very much. And thank you to my colleague from Prince George Mackenzie.